Acha ji, so this is going to be the solution to your JS task 3. It says Woodland Homes is going to hold library introduction sessions for the residents. They want residents to book the sessions on their intranet. Web page has been started and saved as basic booking form.html. Open the page in the browser to view the form. Test the form with the following entries. The house needs to be oak. Name is Mary Dunn. Number of people is 2. Session is 3. Amend the code in the form to meet the following requirements. Entries in the house input box should be limited to house names ash, birch, and oak. No entry or any other entry should result in error message. The error message is going to be please enter the correct name ash, birch, or oak. Any other input box left empty should result in the error message please complete all information. And the text in the final alert should match the number of people for booking. For example, 1 should be person, 2 should be people. Save this as new booking form.html. So the very first step that you are supposed to do is when you open up your HTML, I'll just drop it. Whenever you open your HTML, have a look at the design first, right? And then test it in your browser, how it looks, what may be the requirement. This will clear out a few things for you. So we are to test this in our browser by putting in house as oak. The name is Mary Dunn. Number of people are 2 and the session is 3. We are going to click on view and submit the request. Pop-up comes up. Pop-up reads as thanks Mary Dunn, you have chosen Wednesday session 3 for 2 person, and it's written persons. So we have to fix this. The scenario is to amend the code. Amend means modify. Once you have tested it in the browser, then you come back. Point number 2 or step number 2. Have a look at all the buttons and input boxes and make sure that they are assigned with certain IDs, because these are going to either call the function or they will be tested. So one by one, if I click on the house input box and go to my code, I can see that the house input box also being mentioned by the examiner, that the input box has the ID house, type is text, you can enter text values, and by default it is basically blank. Then for the name input box, the ID is name, type is text, default value is blank. The number of people input box is having the ID number booked. It is type number, so you are supposed to type in number, and then the value is left blank, so default value is blank. Then there's a session number which has the ID session number, value is blank. The max value that you can enter is 3. Obviously it is supposed to be checked later when you click on it. And then last of all, the button is basically going to call the function acknowledge. This is what we can see from the elements which are added onto our HTML, all the input boxes, and the button upon which the acknowledge function is going to be called. Now we look at the script. It says script language JavaScript. It does not matter whether you keep it like this or you just want to write it script. It's up to you. This is perfectly fine. We can see that this is initiated here and this is ending over here. So this is fine. After this, the function acknowledge is written, which is going to be called in when we click on the button. The syntax is complete, round bracket open, close, and then the curly bracket open and curly bracket close. Review the code. There's a variable called day being introduced, and the condition is if the house.value equals to birch with capital B or the house.value birch with a small b, either of the cases, the day is going to be assigned with Tuesday. Do we understand this?
Yes, sir.
Right? You can leave it as it is, or you can indent it so that the value true is appearing in the next line. That is all up to you. Else, if the house dot value equals to oak or oak with the small or capital, the day is going to be assigned Wednesday. If the house dot value is ash, the day is going to be assigned Thursday. This particular block code or code block is actually working fine. We tested it, we typed in oak and the message had Wednesday in it. Next is basically an alert being added, which is basically your custom message in which in speech marks it's written thanks plus name.value. This is basically referring to the value that you add or enter in the name input box. Then custom text is you have chosen plus day. Day is basically going to be assigned whatever the value of the house that you are going to input. So if it is birch, it will appear Tuesday. If it is oak, it will appear Wednesday. If ash, it will appear Thursday. Then custom text session plus session number dot value. So whatever value you input in the session input box, that will be displayed. Custom text 4 plus number booked, whatever value you enter in the number booked input box, that will be displayed. And then it's persons. So we are going to test this, or we are going to amend it. We're going to modify it. Last line is written as house.value blank, name.value blank, number book.value blank, session number.value blank. This line is written why? Because that after the code is run, after you get the alert message and you click on OK, all these input boxes are going to have the empty value. So they will be empty. So this is fine. The first thing that the examiner wants us to do is we are to check that the entries in the house input box should be limited to the house names ash, birch, and oak. No entry or any other entry should result in the error message, which is please enter the correct name ash, birch, or oak. All right. So in order to do this or test this, what I can do is I can keep the code which is already given to us. I'm going to make it inactive by having it set as the multiple line comment. So very first thing that we need to check is basically the names of the house should be limited to birch, oak, and ash. Do we get this? So I'll start with if round bracket open close, curly bracket open close, else curly bracket open close. This is the syntax for my if function. Now in the logical test, I'm just going to indent this. If I would say round bracket open close, if the house dot value is not equals to birch with capital B and house dot value is not equals to birch with small b, this will be treated as one whole block. Okay, then after the bracket I'm going to add another and round bracket open close. Now I would say I'll just copy this and I will place it here. This will be applied to oak with capital O and oak with small o. After this, I'm going to add again, and then I'm going to copy this for ash. So this will be ash with capital A and ash with small a. This whole statement will be treated as just one whole logical test, enclosing birch, ash, and oak separately. After this, if the values are not these, then what should be? It should be alerting me with an error message. And the error message is, please enter the house name as, let's say, ash, birch, or oak. I did not put or operator in between because that will result in my value being false. If any of the logical test is satisfied, it will go on to the value false rather than value true. So I need to put an AND operator so that every code block or every logical test is satisfied. Whatever. So if the value is equals to this, it should be acceptable. So that means the value false for me is going to be empty. Now I'm just going to test this code block by going into my browser. Let's have house name as oak. Click on view and submit. No error message comes. I can type in small oak. No error message. Let's say have the ash. No error message. Ash like this. No error message. Let's type this, making sure that the prompt works. So if I add any other thing except for ash, birch, and oak and click on it, I do get the prompt for please enter the house name ash, birch, or oak. Not equal to that. Not equals to. Yeah. All right. So one is satisfied. The other is that any other input box left empty should result in the error message, please complete all information. This is again very fairly simple. I will just come out of this if after this test, it should test the value for the input box. If any of these are left empty, it should result in the error message. Okay. So I'll type in if round bracket open close, curly bracket open close, else curly bracket open close. Again, I will indent this for my understanding. Now, if house dot value, that's my first input box, is equals to empty, or the other input box is name, so I would say name dot value equals to empty, or then we have number booked, make sure the case sensitivity since it counts, so make sure that the ID is exactly the same, empty, or the last is session number, so session number dot value double equals to empty. So if this logical test is true, if any of these are left blank, I would say alert, and the message is going to be please complete all information. Simple. In order to test this and just this test block, the code block, I will keep the previous if inactive so that I'm only testing if one of these are left empty. Let's test it out. Opening up in the browser, let's say I've added this. I'm not going to add this number of people, let's say 1, and this is let's say 3. If I click on view and submit, the pop-up comes, please complete all information. So it works for name value. Let's have name entered, house is empty. Click on it, the error comes. If I leave number of people empty, click on view and submit, the error comes. If I leave the session empty and all others filled, the error comes. And if I keep all of them entered, click on view and submit, no error comes. So this condition is also satisfied. Last is the text in the final alert should match the number of people booking. For example, for one person, it should be one person, and for two, it should be people. So mainly, if there's only one person going, it should appear as one person, and if there are more than one, it should be appearing as the number of people attending with the word people in it. Again, I will add another if to solve this. So number of people are basically entered in what? Number booked. The value is basically by default empty. The type is number. So we are testing against this. The quantity of the people entered here will result in the corresponding text message. And the text message is already given to us in this form. Right? I will make use of the same text message. First, I will have to think what may be the scenarios. The user may enter 1. The user may enter more than 1. The user may enter 0 as well, or a negative value. In that case, that becomes what? Invalid. So there are three options. Either they can enter 0 or negative 1, either they can enter 1, or they can enter more than 1. Right? Okay, so I'll type in my if, round bracket open, curly bracket open, close, else, curly bracket open, close. Indenting for my understanding. Now, if the number booked dot value is equals to, or let's say it is equals to 1. Done. If that is equals to 1, I will take my error message, or let's say the prompt, to be this. I'll copy it and I'll paste it as my value true. However, we can change this to just alert. So over here, it should be not people, it should be persons. Else, now I need to test two more things. So I will delete this, add another if. You may leave this as it is or you may delete it, does not matter. So if round bracket open, curly bracket open, else curly bracket open, close. This is the second if. This is my value true, this is the else, and this is my value false for this particular if. Now what do I need to do? I need to test if the number booked dot value is greater than or equals to 1. Then it should be the same message, but not with person, with people. And if it is not equals to 1, if it is not greater than or equals to 1, then it's what? It's an invalid. So alert, you entered an invalid number of people booking a session. In order to test this code block, since I know the previous code blocks are active and they work fine, I will keep only this code block active. So now I'm only concerned about the error messages, or let's say the prompts, which I will get based on the session. Let's test this out in our browser. Pressing F12, save the changes. So if I click on submit, it says you entered an invalid people booking a session. So it's only checking the number value. Let's say number value is 0. The prompt comes up, you entered an invalid number of people booking a session. Let's say it's 1. Click on view and submit. Does not run, so probably there's a problem in the code. Let's talk about 3. All right. The problem might be that in the else, I had to start with window alert is the same as of alert. You can write window.alert or you can write alert. It's the same thing. So click view and submit. Error message on blank, 0. Error message on 0. Click on 1. Need to test this. Number book dot value equals to 1. This should result in name dot value session. This should work. Let's have this inactive and run this. If it is 1, there's a problem in condition. Curly bracket, number booked, the ID, dot value. Okay, what I can do is I can change this. If it is greater than or equals to 1, let's have this active. Let's check for greater than 1. Still not working. Is there an extra bracket? Oh, this is for the function. Let's type in, or let's connect this first. And also we're going to add these so that it's complete. So let's add 2. It's not work. Okay, let's try to write this all over again. It was if the number booked dot value is less than or equals to, let's say, 0, number booked. We'll say that alert let's test it for 0. It works. And let's have it -6. The message comes. So I will alter this to you have entered an invalid number of people booking the session. Okay, so this is my custom message. After this, I'll type in else if the number booked dot value is equals to 1. It should be alert and it should be person. This done. Else this should be if this does not work, the nested if, then I would probably go with separate ifs. So let's test this. Number of people invalid, 0, invalid, 1. Okay, what about 4? Okay, let's put this as a separate if. This whole as a separate if. Number of people 1. Must be a problem with the bracket. The problem is that we have not activated the previous input boxes. That's the problem. There was no problem with the code. We had to activate all of this to input the whole message or the output actually. So number of people 1. You have chosen undefined session 1 for persons. It's not persons. We had to remove that line because this line of code is not needed. So we'll remove this and the value empty. I will place this at the end. Should be okay now. House Ash, Mary done. Number of people, let's say 0 and 3. So it says you have entered invalid number of people booking the session. Okay. Then we are going to add Ash, Mary done. Number of people 1, session 3. We click on view and submit. Thanks, Mary done. You have chosen Thursday session 3 for 1 person. Let's say Ash, Mary done. Number of people, let's say 3. And session is also 3. We click on view and submit. Mary done. You have chosen Thursday session 3 for 3 people. So this was the solution to your task 3. Invalid. No people booked, or let's say it can't be like you're booking a session for none, right? So this was the solution to your exercise 3.